pineapple weed. It's one of my absolute favorite plants to forage for because it's so easy to identify, it's ubiquitous, and it's so versatile. Crush any of the flower heads and you'll smell the unmistakable scent of pineapple, and that's where the plant gets its name from. You'll find it worldwide, but it really likes rocky, terrible quality soil. So look for it in between sidewalk cracks, at the edge of your driveway, or off a gravel path. Pineapple weed is a sister of chamomile, and you can use it in almost the same exact ways that you would use chamomile.
If you're only harvesting the flower heads, the plant will keep producing them all summer, so you can keep harvesting them again and again all summer long.
And one of my favorite ways to use it is in a nighttime tea, because it does have a slight sedative effect. I harvest the berries. You can see they kind of look like tiny strawberries.
You can absolutely eat pineapple weed raw. It tastes great. It kind of has like a parsley clean taste to it, although some people say that the older leaves can be quite bitter.
But the berries are where most of the flavor and of course the scent of pineapple is.
That taste is enhanced by sugar, but it also goes really nicely with savory things. It isn't overpowering, and cooking seems to mute it a bit, so when I cook this plant, I don't like to cook it very long, only at the tail end of the recipe.
So how do I use it? First, you have to wash it pretty well. I harvested a lot here because I found a big supply of it, and I will go through this. So you cut some of the heads off, and you can add them just right into fish tacos, or potato salad with the leaves and also a few flower heads.
It just adds a really nice hint of pineapple in a place you wouldn't expect.
And of course it's wonderful in salad. To make a kind of chamomile tea, just dry the flowers at your oven's lowest setting for about 20 or 30 minutes, smash it up and store it in an airtight container. You only need 1 or 2 teaspoons of it.
It doesn't really taste like pineapple, it tastes more just like a regular chamomile tea, but it's still really nice. Today's recipe is a dessert called Natilla de Piña. It's a Colombian custard, but I'm going to make it with pineapple weed today.
So to start off, we're going to take a half a cup of the washed flower heads, and we're going to add them to a saucepan with a half a cup of water. Bring it to a boil. 3 to 5 minutes later, add in a 1/4 cup of sugar. We're making basically a simple syrup. Boil it until it's reduced to a 1/4 cup of liquid, and then remove it from the heat and strain it really well through a fine mesh sieve. And we're going to want to squeeze all of the liquid out because that's where the concentrated flavor is. Let it cool down, and then add in a tablespoon of cornstarch. Mix it in really well. We don't want any clumps. And you can go ahead and throw away the flower heads. They have given up their flavor. So 2 cups milk of choice. I have a cup of coconut milk, full fat, and a cup of almond milk. Then we add in half a cup of sugar and a pinch of salt and a teaspoon of vanilla. We're just gonna whisk it well until everything is nicely combined and bring it to a simmer. Once it's bubbling, then we're gonna slowly add in the pineapple weed mixture with the cornstarch and whisk it in really well. We need to temper 2 egg yolks, but it's pretty much impossible to do this while you hold an iPhone, so just use your imagination here. I'm whisking up the egg yolks with a tiny bit of liquid and then very slowly and carefully whisking them into the mixture. And then we're going to boil it for approximately 5 minutes until it's really nice and thick like a pudding. And then we're going to pour it into a container, cover it, and then wait until morning to eat it.
Wake up in the morning and have it for breakfast.
Though it is subtle, the pineapple flavor is unmistakable. It's a perfect complement to the cream and sugar. Basically, I just like eating cream and sugar for breakfast, but who doesn't?
Thank you for joining us, and I hope that we'll see you next week for our next episode. In the meantime, happy foraging!